Hello, my fresco-loving, spiritual curious friends. Welcome to the Adventure Box Podcast, the podcast where we don't just talk about temples, we admire the carvings, decode the symbols, and try not to trip on century-old stone steps, right? It is painful. I have been there. Don't do it. I am the host, Zach Edwards, and today we're diving into the magnificent art and architecture of ancient India. From the stupas to caves, temples to carvings, and all the sacred symbols in between. Today we will explore only two things: the great monuments and murals of ancient India's spirituality. Wow, that's a long... Yeah, okay. The second thing is the key difference between Hindu, Buddhist, and Jain art. Because yes, that meditating figure is important. But is he Shiva, a Buddha, or Mahavira? Let's find out. So grab your sandals, grab your sketchbooks, and a deep appreciation for craftsmanship. We're going on a sacred sightseeing adventure. Here we go. First off, imagine this. You're in ancient India. The scent of incense. Oh yeah, it smells good. Whew. Floating in the air. Something, somewhere, nearby, a bell chimes softly. And in front of you, a towering stupa. Or maybe a cave temple carved into the side of a mountain. Let's break it down. Let's talk about the stupa. Now the stupa, I have a picture here. There we go. That is a stupa. It is built completely of stones. This looks like concrete, but it's not. It's stones. Okay, maybe there was a little bit of concrete, but mostly stones. So they pile these stones up in almost like a igloo. Isn't that neat? Very neat. Very, very. Okay. Now, originated in Buddhism, the stupas were mound-shaped structures built to house the relics of a Buddha. They had fine hair, bones, and that sandal he definitely wore on Tuesdays. Yeah, really, he did. They're not meant to go inside. You do not go inside. You walk around them in meditation. That's why it has this walkway around the stupa. You do not go inside. It's actually closed off. The famous Great Stupa of Sanchi, which is 3rd century BC. It's later enlarged, bigger. It is a masterpiece. It has ornate gateways. Let's see. It has those gateways are called Toranas. Now, carvings show scenes from the Buddhist life, which we will go into later on. But fun fact, early Buddhist art avoided showing the Buddha directly. Instead, they used footprints in an empty throne, or a Bodhi tree as symbols, because you do not show the Buddha at the time. Now, what else? What are these? Oh, these are amazing. How in the world did they carve these great pieces of art? Oh, and they're a little naked. Okay, sorry. I'll go to the next one. How did they make this? Well, these are found all over Asia. All over India. Now, these are engineering feats. These are temples chiseled directly into cliffs. Why build on a mountain when you can build in one, right? Most famous is the Ajanta and the Ellora caves. And these are some of those. The Ajanta, primarily Buddhist, full of murals, peaceful Buddhas, and ceiling paintings, much like the Sistine Chapel. They rival modern art galleries. They are so amazing inside. And we will look at the art very soon, very soon. Okay. Then there's the Ellora, a multi-religious complex. It has both Buddhism, Hinduism, and Jain caves side by side, like a spiritual apartment complex. It had like everybody from everywhere. It was great. It had some great art. They were used for worship. They were used for teaching and a place for the monks to hang out. Bonus, great acoustics for chanting. Really, you say hum, and you hear it for hours afterwards. Echo, 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 echo. Now these are Buddhist temples. Ooh, look at this one. This is great. Okay, but now comes the Hindu temples. This is the home of the divine. The Hindu temples developed over time into ornate shrines. They were not all decorative like this in the beginning, but they became full of symbols and other designs. Now, the main ones are Garbhagriha. Garbhagriha was the womb chamber where the deity statue lives. It's where you put the statue of the main deity in that area, depending on which temple you use. Then there's the Shikhara. This is the towering spire above the deity's home, up here. That's right there. And it's pointing to the heavens to allow the deity to leave and come as they may, often surrounded by carvings of gods, dancers, animals, and cosmic battles. Temples like the Kailasa at Ellora, and you could say the Meenakshi in Madurai feels like stone coming alive. Now, so recap. Buddhism says, let's meditate in a cave. Hinduism says, let's carve a mountain into God's house. And the results? Some of the most stunning art in all of the planet. I guess that was still here. So these are great. But you also had the temples. You had Hindu temples like this. You also, you had Jainism temples like this. That's quite the feat. Look at that. That is amazing. Zoom in more. As you can see, those are all people carved in to the side of the temple, all the way up, and up all the way. Wow. That is quite a feat. Literally, lots of feet on there. Okay. Now let's decode some of the symbols hidden in the art. Oh, I did not show you the Buddhist temple. Let me show you the Buddhist temple. This is also a great feat. Check this out. You remember the stupa, how you walked around for your meditation, not go inside. What happens if it's a huge statue of Buddha? How do you go inside? You don't. You may go under. There is probably something under, but it's made to go around the Buddha, to meditate as you walk around the Buddha. Those are the different temples. Here's another one. Very nice. This is also Jainism temple. Well, now we're getting into art. Let's go back. Okay, before we get there. So let's uncode these symbols. Okay. You started at a 2,000-year-old carving. What does it mean? You're staring at it. What does it mean? Let's play sacred symbols or just a fancy hat. Okay? Okay. Common religious symbols. If you see this in a religious art, this is what they mean. If you see a lotus flower, the lotus, it's a flower. It means purity, enlightenment, and cosmic perfection. Mudras, or hand gestures. Different positions use meaning meditation, or protection, or teaching, or nope, not today. Then there was the chakras. The chakras are energy centers of the body. The chakra is like a cosmic wheel in temple design. Then there's the trident, or also known as the Trishula. Now this is associated with Shiva, representing the creation, preservation, and the destruction. Then lion thrones, big, big, and elephants and peacocks all carry layering spiritual meanings, many different meanings. Okay, now that is some of the common religious symbols. Now, for Buddhism, let me bring up a Buddhist picture. Yep, this is a Buddhist image back 2,000 years ago. So this is when they first started letting Buddha be the center point of the image instead of footprints or the tree, the Bodhi tree. So Buddha is usually under a tree, which means enlightenment. This not really under a tree, but it does have lotus flowers. Interesting. Then there's the Dhamma chakra. The Dhamma chakra is basically the wheel of Dharma, teaching the path. And then empty throne or footprints, the presence of the Buddha without depicting him. This is before this image. Okay. Then you have Hindu symbolism. Hindu symbolism, as you can see, much different. The gods, much different than Buddhists. You don't have Buddha or another deity around Buddha. You have different deities with many faces, many arms, many different things. Okay, so let's go through the symbolism. Nataraja. Now, Nataraja is Shiva dancing in a cosmic ring of fire. Okay, so no ring of fire here, but definitely dancing. This means creation or destruction in one divine dance. Multiple arms. So you have this here. Multiple arms, divine power. The more arms, the more multitasking. That's right. The more arms, the more multitasking the god is. Okay. Then animals. Okay, no animals here in this one. You do have serpents. Remember, we talked about that. Like accessories. Serpents like accessories. Okay, so the last one, animals. Each deity has a ride. Shivnu has Garuda, the eagle. Shiva has Nandi, the bull. And Ganesha has a mouse. What? Yes, a mouse. I do not see the mouse in this picture. Okay, I do not know. Let's talk about Jainism art. Now, Jainism art, very different than Hinduism, but somewhat similar to Buddhism. Often depicts Tirthankaras, the spiritual teachers, in meditative stillness. See? Meditating. I don't know if he chanted, but definitely meditation. Now, symbols include the hands with a wheel. Okay, hands. Yes, I see hands. A wheel? I don't see much of a wheel in this one. But that is a common occurrence in pictures like this. Okay, then art is clean. It's systematic, symmetrical. Symmetrical. There's the word I was looking for. Symmetrical, which means you cut this picture in half and you get the same picture left and right, or at least very close. The weight is the same. They focus on spiritual purity. That's what that means. So in short, ancient India, their artists weren't just showing off. They were telling deep stories in stone, in paintings, in murals, anything. They wanted to share a message. Every statue had a message. Every lotus meant something, and every deity had excellent posture. I could not stand like this forever. But for a monk, they do it for a long time. So they would actually be able to do this. Okay, so let's go back to some of the previous art I showed. Hinduism. Okay, now it's time for our segment on who made that temple, right? So let's compare how Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism approached art and architecture. We're going to start with Hinduism. You remember the temple? This is some of the art. It was busy. Okay, not so much this, but definitely this. Very busy. Deities with multiple arms, weapons, and wild expressions. Yeah, that's not a wild expression. Raspberry. It's great. I love it. Okay. It also emphasized mythology, duality, and cosmic drama. There has to be some sort of drama here. I just don't know what the story is. I don't know if anyone knows the story, because this was a depiction many thousand years ago. So I do not know. There might have been a book written at the same time to talk about it. I don't know. The temples are vertical, often with towering spires called shikaras, and carvings all over every inch. So all over every inch. These are all people too, just like the Jainism temple. And it was everywhere on the temple. So think, let's tell all the creative stories on one wall. That's basically what they did. It was so busy. I like busy work. I like having very much detail. This is my type of temple when it comes to the decor of it. Let's talk about Buddhism. It was peaceful, meditative, and symbolic. There we go. Peaceful, meditative, symbolic. Simple, somewhat. I mean, little ornate. Meditative, they're meditating, and symbolic. Okay, I don't know what the symbolism is, but this is Buddhist art, right? Yeah. Focused on the Buddha's life, teachings, and the path to Nirvana. It also uses simple geometric forms like stupas. Go all the way back. Stupa. There you are. Very geometric forms. Stupas and serene expressions. Serene. Calm. Collected. Zen. Yes. Okay. Now, early art avoided showing the Buddha directly, like I said before. Later, majestic statues emerged, like the giant Bamiyan's Buddha. It was destroyed in 2001, but once incredible. Think, find peace in the pasture, meaning is silence. So you go into the pasture with all the animals, like remember, animals symbolic means peace, means silence. Silence! I said silence! Okay. Gotta meditate. Okay. Now, Jainism art. Okay. Very different. It was minimalistic and focused. Not so much with this one. It has a lot of detail, but not too much. Each image, not too much detail in the image. It features Tathankaras, which are the spiritual teachers, meditating or standing in quiet meditation, mostly sitting, sometimes standing. Temples often made of gleaming white marble. Wait. White marble. There we go. White marble. Not really gleaming, but it's old. It's an old temple. Like the Ranakpur temple. It is a carved forest of pillars. I think this might be that one. So, they all very similar, but emphasize on purity, white, order. There's a rhyme and reason for every single tower and pillar, and also precision. If you carve this, you have to worry about precision. Think of it this way. Don't move. Don't harm. Just focus. Focus. Okay. So if you walk into a temple and it's loud, colorful, and full of gods, doing yoga poses with 8 arms, it's probably what? That's right, Hinduism. If it's calm, serene, and smells like sandalwood, incense, it most likely be Buddhism, right? Okay, and if everything is white, symmetrical, and so clean you could eat off the floor, it's probably Jainism. Why was it so clean? No bugs. You can step wherever you want if no bugs. Okay, that's a good thing for them, yes. So, what do we take away from all of this? Why is this important? Ancient Indian religions, their art wasn't just decoration. It was a spiritual roadmap. It was etched into stone, painted on walls, and carved in the side of mountains. Whether you were chanting in a Buddhist cave, circling a sacred stupa, meditating in a Jain temple, or offering flowers at a Hindu shrine, you were part of a vibrant visual story of faith, pressed through some of the most imaginative and enduring art in human history. That's it. That is pretty amazing. So much detail, so much symbolism. It's amazing. I love art, but I love art in India. It is so ornate, so detailed, so great. And yet, it could also be very simple. And if it's simple, it's most likely what? I can't hear you. That's right, Buddhism. Yes. So, thank you for walking the ancient corridors of India's sacred places with me today on the Adventure Box podcast. I'm Zach Edwards, your barefoot tour guide through time, reminding you that sometimes the most powerful sermons are not spoken. They're carved into stone. So wait for next time. Next time is great. We will be going into the rise of the Mauryan Empire and Ashoka the Great, and what happens when a warrior king become a Buddhist monk. That's right. Why is it? Action item for you. Action question. Why is it that it was mostly the stories you hear of Buddhism and Jainism that they're most powerful, most influential, most wealthy individuals were the ones that walked away and gave up everything to join Buddhist group or Jainist group? Interesting. You have to think. There's a lot more to it than that. I wonder, just curious, when Buddha left everything, he still owned everything. Did he sell it? Did he give it up, right? Jainism, when those princes left for meditation, did they sell everything and give it to the Jainist effort? I don't know. That's a curiosity. I thought that right when I asked it, or right when I started telling you about it. It's like, could they have actually been donating all their money to these causes? And then those that had the causes lived pretty darn well? I mean, how do you build a temple like this without much money? I think they might have had some influence there. Okay, so I don't know. It's just a curiosity. Now, the Buddha, I do understand. He had family. He had children. Most likely he did not take away their home and their money when he left them stranded by themselves in a big palace with no dad. I don't know. You don't know. I wasn't there. Neither were you. Neither were the architects or historians. But we do the best we can. So, wait a minute. Did you hear it? I heard it again. It's the chimes, the temple chimes, soft chanting, and bird songs fading into silence. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Adventure Box podcast, and we will talk to you next time. Have a great day, and be peaceful, be simple, and live with reason and understanding and peace. So peace out. We'll talk to you later. Bye. If you have any comments or questions, add them to the comments below. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow, actually. Take care. Bye.